Iron Man. So glad I got this mug. So here I am, guys, to finally talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've been waiting so damn long to talk about this movie and all the movies in and the TV shows in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I am a big fan of this franchise. From the movies to the TV shows, I love it all. Not all of it though. There are some that I do not like, some that just is a drag. But this is one of those movies that I do like. One of the movies in the cinematic universe that I do like. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? Alright, so this movie for me is very nostalgic because, believe it or not, like, factually, I was 10 when this movie came out. Now, 10 years later, I'm 20. And, you know, Avengers Infinity War, I cannot wait. It's just, but for this movie specifically, I can't believe I was 10. And I honestly, it makes me, like, I'm 20, and that's not an old age, right? That's a young age to be. But it just makes me feel older than I am, literally growing up with this universe. And going back to watch this movie and talk about it like I am now, it's very nostalgic because we had movies like The Dark Knight, and, well, those were the two big movies of that year that I really can remember. This one and that one. This one it's just very nostalgic. It's the beginning of everything that you know about the Marvel Cinematic Universe today. Everything. So, yes, I do love this movie. Does it have some problems? Yeah, it has some problems, but I will talk about them soon. But first, let's just go on to Robert Downey Jr. First, I will say, he is perfect for this role. Actors who are perfect for roles like Deadpool and I can't think of any others at the moment, but Robert Downey Jr. is like the Ryan Reynolds Robert Downey Jr. is to Iron Man like Ryan Reynolds is to Deadpool. He is perfect for this role. Robert Downey Jr., as I've seen in many interviews, is very much like his counterpart in Iron Man. He's so much like Tony Stark. And he was just perfect. And the one scene that made me like realize it, like, you know, those scenes that sometimes happens in movies where you see an actor playing a role and they're getting, like, this particular scene of this movie, whatever it is, of this example, is that they're so good that you can't really see the actor. You see the character and you see nothing else but that. The one scene that when I was rewatching it for this review, that I just sat back and was like, wow, he is actually Tony Stark. Was that scene, that demonstration scene for the Jericho missile or whatever. It's just, he's just good. He's just freaking amazing as Tony Stark. He's great. So one thing that I really liked about this movie is the first quarter or first half of the movie. I really liked it because it was very grounded, because he's stuck in this cave. He's been captured by terrorists, stuck in this dark, gritty, grimy cave, and he has to bend to their will, and he's trying to escape, and he eventually does. But I can't remember if that was like the first half of the movie or the first quarter. It was more like the first quarter, but it was just really tense and just grounded and gritty, and it's like it was a great way to start the movie, to really invest you into this, to really invest you into the story, but also mainly the character. You are invested into, you're with Tony Stark, right? You understand this is a horrible situation, and it was just directed and written very well. It was very tense and very realistic. I will say it was very realistic, the circumstances that he was in. But I have to say, the movie loses it that tension. For me, like most of the tension was in that time of the movie, and when he gets home and when he comes home and becomes Iron Man, for me, the movie lost some tension. The tension that kept me on the edge of the seat at the beginning of the movie. This isn't a problem. It's just, I understand it is a superhero movie, so you got to tell his origin story, and that also involves him coming home and becoming Iron Man. But I felt like it would have been more of a, I don't know. The movie is fantastic, okay, but I'm a sucker for tension-filled stories, and that was great. His origin, though, when he gets home, is also great because he's on recovery. He's trying to recover from everything that happened, and some things are tied. Some people in his company are tied to the things that happened to him overseas. So it kind of went from tension to sheer tension to a little bit of intrigue and mystery during the second half of the movie. So one thing I have to mention is that this movie kind of has two antagonists. This movie starts off showing us the 10 rings, which is, if you read Iron Man or have heard if you've heard a bit about his villains and his past and stuff like that, you know that the 10 Rings is a pretty big villain of his. The leader of the 10 Rings being the Mandarin. Now, the Mandarin is nowhere to be found in this movie. The only guy I suspect to be anything close to the Mandarin is the guy who is actually leading the 10 Rings in the cave. This guy that I'm showing you right now. I don't know the character's name. All I can say is that I guess he's like the Mandarin of this little 10 Rings group. But the 10 Rings is like Hydra to Captain America is like the 10 Rings to Tony Stark. Like, the 10 Rings to Tony Stark is like Hydra to Captain America. That's what it's like. It's like they are a very formidable threat that Tony Stark faces. And I found them more intimidating and threatening than the villain that we get in the second half of the movie, which is Obadiah Stane. Now, I have nothing against Jeff Bridges. I have nothing against him. Was a little underwhelmed with his villain. I just feel like the movie would have been stronger, would have been a stronger movie if they would have kept the 10 Rings as the main villains. I don't know, somehow bring them overseas and they are on the hunt for Tony Stark after everything that happened. But this is a good movie, right? The only problem that I have with it personally is that the actual villain that turns out, the guy that turns out to be the actual villain by the end is just a little underwhelming. I would have enjoyed the 10 Rings to be the main villain because it's more realistic and more grounded, but it's also more threatening because it's so realistic, because it's not big blockbuster. But that's the only problem that I have with it, is that the movie for me lost its tension. But is it a good superhero origin story? Yes, it is a fantastic superhero origin story, as I drink my Iron Man mug. So yeah, it's a great movie. It is awesome. The action is awesome, and just his story is good. His story is good. And some of my favourite moments, I'll move down to my favourite moments now, the opening scene, freaking fantastic. That was the pinnacle, that was the starting point of the very tension-filled, I don't know, stuff that was going on with him and the 10 Rings. That was the start of the tension in the movie. Stark's escape. Oh yeah, when he escapes from the 10 Rings. That was also good. That was good. That was a really good scene. That's it. It's just a great movie. It's a great origin story and a great way to introduce audiences to the Marvel's cinematic universe as it is. So yeah, please go watch the movie. Stick around for my other reviews of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that will be coming up. and will be going in a playlist. So if you want to watch it all in one go or watch it all together, it's in a playlist for you to do. Go and watch it. Have a good time. See you later. Bye.